the point is, it's great. It's a great show. It's a great cartoon, and it's phenomenal. And with phenomenal works, it's very difficult to change the original dynamic in which it was created and intended to be consumed, right? And that is unfortunately that's where it ends. Basically, it's good while it lasted. Will called it mid the other day. Yeah, whatever. I don't care. It's very feel good. It feels awesome. It's a lot of fun, and it's good while it lasted. And then now they are, trying to desperately rehash the IP because everything old must become new again because we have no new ideas. And it sucks. So let's get to why I'm talking about it. Because why am I talking about it? Well, I'm talking about Avatar: The Last Airbender because unfortunately, they keep teasing new things. Netflix is making a live action version of it again. And they keep adding new things. They keep leaking new things about it on the timeline that just suck. And it turns out the OG creators of Avatar: The Last Airbender actually pulled out of this project because they had disagreements. What do you mean again? That's true. There's also another look. The meme in this community is that there's another Avatar: The Last Airbender movie, but I do not acknowledge it because it's the most dog shit. I've actually never watched it. It is the most dog shit piece of shit ever made. It should have never been made at all. And it's messed up. Anyway. So, yeah, if you want to truly experience a masterpiece that's really, 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 really fun to watch and really feel good, I will suggest Avatar: The Last Airbender. The Korra series is also fine. The one that followed, it's not as good, but it's still decent. To be fair, the creators made Legend of Korra, which is ideologically very anti-communist, sadly. I know. Oh, did I say Kara? Whatever, shut up. Korra. And it is it is very liberal. But let's look at some of the idiotic things that have come out so far about it. One of the things that I saw that was inevitable was that made its way into my timeline. Was very frustrating. Was this? Here, I'll read it out. Netflix push for the decision to remove Sokka's sexism from Avatar: The Last Airbender. Certain areas of Katara's character have also been removed, including some gender issues that didn't quite translate from the cartoon. Now, a couple things I want to point out here. People originally were very mad that this character wasn't being portrayed by an actor who's indigenous. And obviously these characters are indigenous characters. Turns out he actually fucking is indigenous. And everyone just constantly fucking harps on shit like this. And it blows up on the timeline. So I looked into it. Okay? You want to know what's super sad about the situation? Not only is he actually indigenous, he's not from a tribe that is acknowledged by the federal government, which is why, he's from a tribe that is not recognized by the federal government. That doesn't mean he's not fucking indigenous. Okay? People are so dumb. Yeah. Imagine. Yeah, he's extra indigenous, okay? It's not recognized by any Cherokee Nation. Listen, he's a fake Cherokee. It's a fake tribe. We don't recognize them. From what I understand, there are a bunch of tribes that are not recognized federally at all, partially because one, they've either been completely wiped out, or two, they never actually made deals with the federal government at all. So now it's just completely unrecognized, even if they are literally a part of like even though they are indigenous. Anyway. The blood quantum freaks in the chat need to back the fuck off. Yeah, I know. White liberals in a vein to be inclusive end up self-reporting about the racism. Yeah. In Seattle, the Wamish natives are now recognized and they were Seattle's first settlers. This tweet sums up my feelings. Yeah, I saw this, and we'll talk about that in a second too. So anyway, regardless of this dude's like native background, okay, beyond this dude's like native background, okay, that's like not the main point that we were going to talk about. That was the original thing that people were mad about, but that like kind of was cast aside. Who gives a shit? Okay. But ultimately, Netflix apparently is pushed to delete like a fundamental part of Sokka's journey, which was that he was like sexist. And that was a part of his character development, like learning that he should not be, right? That's supposed to be character growth. I don't know if it's like the Netflix diversity team that is just like, no, you can't even show this at all. Or what the fuck it is. Like, it has to be like a perfect child or something. It's just, I don't know. I think one problem is misogyny hits different when the actor's in his 20s and not 13. But he's portraying like a teenager, ultimately. Okay? Anyway, here it is.
So it's my fault.
I knew I should have left you home. Leave it to a girl to screw things up.
You are the most sexist, immature, nut-brained... I'm embarrassed to be related to you! Ever since Mom died, I've been doing all the work around camp while you've been off playing soldier!
Katara?
The entire point of Sokka's character being sexist is that it is a perfect way to explain what fucking sexism is. Okay? Sokka is a coward. He's a fool. But he's a man. And therefore, automatically, in a way that is not dissimilar to like Ben Shapiro's Lady Ballers, right? He thinks, because of his misogynistic tendencies, that he's automatically better than the female character, his sister, who is a very powerful waterbender, Katara. That's the whole point. And he just keeps getting his fucking ass beat by women until he realizes, like, never mind. This is like, I'm fucking dumb. Okay? That's the best way to describe it. It is supposed to be about male fragility, misogyny, and how this kind of bigotry basically dulls your senses and your sensibilities and makes you a dumber person overall. That's the whole point. It's also a big part of like other very important characters' arcs as well, including, I think, probably one of my favorite characters. What was the Suki, right? The one with the face paint. Like, is that her name? I forget. Yeah. Who is, dope. God, there are so many great characters in this show. It's awesome. Anyway, it also touches on how the tribe's customs were sexist, just how in the real world the environment teaches shit like this. Exactly. So they literally find the Avatar because he's sexist in this scene. Yeah. Like her anger and her waterbending cracks this iceberg, which reveals the Avatar in here.
Let me tell you. Settle down! No! That's it! I'm done helping you! From now on, you're on your own! So it's my fault.
I knew I should have left.
So, that was one of the things that they said. They felt like a lot of moments in the original show were iffy. Yeah, it totally adds Eon Osli Sokka. There are things that were redirected just because it might play a little differently in live action. I think that there is not a lot of trust here with the team developing this now. That's the problem. Having the original, having the original creators of the show not be involved in it, that's a red flag. Having this be such a beloved franchise to begin with that they tried to remake in live action, that's already like riddled to the brim with red flags, considering that someone else has already tried to do this and it sucked. And then like basically like neutering the characters. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck they're going for here, and it's very dumb, I think. As Entertainment Weekly notes, there are entire Reddit threads about Sokka's sexism discussing how the original Sokka prior to his character's journey would make remarks like girls are better at fixing pants than guys, and guys are better at hunting and fighting. Yes, Sokka is supposed to be like a dumbass podcast bro. Okay? The fuck are we doing? That's like, there are people like this in the real world. This is a very real part of how human beings are. Anyway, I don't know. Part of me also thinks like maybe we are like going crazy and overanalyzing it because we don't trust it. Right? That could be it too. That could be part of it. But yeah, overall, apparently the original creators fell out with the Netflix over these changes and putting ad breaks on the show. Oh my God. I thought you were literally talking about ad breaks for a second. That's such a good debate. Fuck you. You did the first one of the day. This is my thing. Only reason I was ever excited was because creators were on board. The moment that they left, I started to lose faith. And this last week is destroyed any remaining faith. They also said Aang in the book 1 doesn't have a guiding reason to head to the North Pole, so they're giving him a vision instead. The whole point is him wandering because he's still afraid to face being the Avatar. Yeah, I don't know. Oh shit, these are Sweden. Okay. We very well may be. They don't have to copy the OG script word for word to make it work. Hope it works. I don't think it's going to work. Okay? I don't think it's going to work at all. Because the show itself is like made for kids, but you can definitely consume it as an adult, if that makes sense. So anyway, One Piece LA work is they listen to the source material and work closely with Oda. They did the opposite here. Avatar: The Last Airbender creators spent 2 years developing the live action adaptation for Netflix before they shocked fans by announcing their exit due to creative differences. Here's the 3-minute ad break now, by the way. Don't have a difference with that. Subscribe. Which left Kim as a sole showrunner. He recently told Entertainment Weekly that it was absolutely daunting to stick with the show without them. You'd have to be an idiot not to be intimidated a little bit, Kim said. My first reaction after Hell Yeah was, holy shit, do I really want to do this? Is there a way to improve upon the original? Whenever you tackle something that's already beloved by millions of fans, you have to ask yourself those questions. Yeah, I think a lot of these like IP recycle opportunities for people like this are oftentimes tackled by people who don't care about the source material, who don't love the source material, who are just in it for a buck to keep it a stack. Okay. And I think that is precisely what's going on. It's like you have to have negativity. You have to have racism. You have to have sexism. You have to have phobias of different variety because they exist in the real world. Like, you shouldn't add it on simply because you want to make a point or whatever, because then you're lecturing people and you're not actually you're lecturing people and you're not actually trying to make this to an enjoyable work, right? Yeah, ableism. All of those things exist in the real world. That's what makes art good. That's why you can't really fucking AI this shit, you know? there's such a bad problem with media literacy right now, and the studios are making it much worse by dumbing down content. I'm so tired of people trying to cancel a character instead of learning why you shouldn't be like the character. Yeah, I don't like that at all. Like, I absolutely despise it. I think it's so lame. It is like the liberal version of what these guys do all the time, like the fucking neck-bearded losers do all the time, when they're like constantly chirping about like, there's a woman in this show. Like, shut the fuck up, dude. Shut up. If it's good, it's good. If it's bad, it's bad. Like, you don't have to magically be like, well, this concept was actually talked about in the show and it's triggering to me, so I fucking hate it. Or from either direction, really. Doesn't matter if your politics are good. Doesn't matter. I'm not making like a moral equivalence between bigotry and anti-bigotry. I'm simply talking about this from the framework of content and art and how it should be consumed and what it actually means. Okay? What's frustrating about this is that people get very, very invested and think that like movies are real. But they do it either in a woke way where they go, well, movies are real and this character is a bad character. Why did they actually show a bad character here? Or they do it in a movies are real and why is this movie woke? As in like, why is there a black person in this movie? Can't believe they did that. Okay, let's stop calling it content for starters, please. Sure, you're right about that. Anyway. It's vital to improve media as society grows, but I love moments of growth in the original series. DiMartino, Konietzko, and Nick Malice created young, flawed characters that grew up and impacted countless young kids who grew into better people because of it. Now, I don't think that like this show taught me lessons or whatever, but it's a good show, and these parts of the show are important to keep in my opinion, because it's just like they exist in the real world, and it's a part of the character arc, right? So anyway, but yeah, this was a good take. Every time Matt Owens spoke about One Piece, you could tell he grew up and loved that franchise, the passion, and knew exactly what made it work. Every time Albert Kim talks about Avatar, you can tell he views animation as a lesser medium. It is so wild to me, and this person is correct. It's wild to me that they were able to make a better live action rendition of an anime that is virtually impossible to create in live action, like One Piece, instead of Cowboy Bebop, which is tailor-made for live action. Like, Watanabe's work is, one, predominantly focused on a Western audience, and that's why it does way better in the Western world than it does in Japan. Okay? That's 100% true, by the way. And it's usually even a burden on the actor, or not the actor, sorry, is a burden on the studio itself that releases this project, because for example, Space Dandy was panned critically in Japan, that, you know, it just kind of died out. And it is mind-boggling to me. It is mind-boggling to me that Cowboy Bebop, which is basically a movie, like perfectly created to be a movie, was just such a ginormous flub. Love Watanabe. Space Dandy is not good. I think Space Dandy is good, but not as good as his other work, obviously. But yeah, I think that Matt Owens has so much respect for One Piece and loves One Piece. As you guys saw, friend of the show, when he came over and he talked about One Piece, like, you could tell, like, he loves it. He loves it so much. He, like, legitimately is invested in it. And it's not just like a dude that took on this job because he was like formerly on like Marvel recreations, and then that's like the natural career trajectory for him. It wasn't like that at all. So anyway, there's also a bunch of this stuff. To make Avatar: The Last Airbender a serialized drama, Aang will not go on many detours looking for adventures like riding the elephant koi. We essentially give him this vision of what is going to happen, and he says, I have to get to the Northern Water Tribe to stop this from happening. People are mad about that too.